In this video, I will exactly explain to you how to turn connections into brotherhood-like relationships. In the end, I will also tell you a few stories that happened in my life with people that are now my best friends, that are perfect examples of what I'm going to show in this video. So make sure, stick around until the end, watch this in its entirety. Watch this from the beginning until the end, because it is very, very important for you to understand these principles. So let us jump straight into it. Number one, it is very, very important for you to understand that most people in this whole online space have no real friendships. These are just acquaintances, because if you're being honest, you have the same interests, you're into online money, you're into online business, all of that, and you make money, and therefore you can afford to live together. You can afford to spend time together. For example, I myself could not go for a month to Bali with my friends here from my hometown where I grew up, because A, they don't have the time, and B, they can't afford it. So if you're being honest, all the new people you meet, the first place why you meet them is because, again, A, you can afford it, and B, you have the same interests like online business. So this is the first reason, and nowadays this is the main issue. Friendships are not really tested because people don't spend much time with each other either way. So all of us, we're most probably traveling around a lot, going here, going there, doing all these different things. And what happens is that we meet people a few times, we maybe jump on a few calls, and we maybe start liking each other a lot, but you see the other person once or twice per year, maybe a bit more often, but you get what I'm saying here. And if you compare this to your childhood friends, where you went through thick and thin together, where you experienced so many different crazy things, this is not comparable at all, just because the amount of time you spend with each other does not allow your relationship to be tested. And also the amount of deep conversations, for example, you have also is not comparable at all. So if you look at it, a true friendship consists of two things, and two things only, which is number one, brutal truth and honesty, meaning sharing vulnerability. This is number one. And number two is crazy shit you've done together. It's very, very simple if you break it down like this. And let us look at this here. Brutal truth and honesty. You have to open up about the deep shit and trauma that you're dealing with for the other person to be more invested in you, which is very important, and allow the relationship to enter a deeper level. For this can be so many different things. This can be a heartbreak, you being behind your goals, lack of discipline. It doesn't matter at all, because nowadays in this whole online space, and I talked about this in the last video I uploaded, people don't show the real face. People just talk about their wins, people just talk about what is going well, and potentially even lie about where they are in their journey, what they're doing, and all of that. So what you have to do is you have to do the opposite. You have to talk about the deep shit. You really have to talk about what's bothering you, because then when you do this, people start caring about you on a way, way different level. And as a prime example for this, I have this Italy event. So I'm here in this pic with a few guys I met on an event, like the first time I attended someone else's event. And what I did there, I was going through a weird phase, doing a lot of personal development, going through shit that I didn't even know I was going through, I had to go through. And what I did was I was talking about all of this to basically complete strangers. Like, I never seen any of these guys who were on this trip or in this room before. I think this was day 2 or 3, and what happened was that I was just talking about my deep shit. And guess what happened after that as well, was that other people opened up about their deep shit as well. And now the quality of conversations we had after this little event, after me initiating all of this, was on a complete different level. And therefore you're allowing these relationships to go much, much, much deeper than they could have beforehand. Because before, you maybe talk about girls, you maybe talk about business, all of these usual topics. Whereas here we talk about one guy, for example, having this issue of being a people pleaser his whole life and how he deals with this nowadays. Me talking about other things that I was going through there. The third guy talking about completely different things, right? Maybe heartbreak, as I said here. And this is where you want to be, and this is where you want all of these friendships to be as well. And this is the most important thing here as well. Calling each other out. People only call each other out if they care about each other. And if you see one of your friends or someone you want to build a real relationship with slacking, it is your moral obligation to tell him to get his shit together. Because otherwise, you're not a good friend and you don't care about him enough. Because if we think about it realistically, why should I call you out if I see you slack, if I don't care about you? I don't. Because what am I doing? I'm actually risking a hard conversation with you, you potentially being mad at me, our relationship to stop because I told you, hey bro, please get your shit together. I see you're slacking. I see you're not giving your 100% every day. I only do this if I care about you, because otherwise I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't care if you do it, if you don't do it, or whatever. It would just not be important enough for me. But what happens if you have a very, very good support system that I mentioned earlier that you get by being open about your shit, by being completely honest, is you get people who then hold you accountable when you need it the most. When you're in your darkest place, you will have people around you that will help you, that will call you out. But also on the flip side, you will have to do the same. And this is, again, your and all of your friends' moral obligation. If you don't have this, change your friends group. And here I have a screenshot which is literally proving that. I will just go over this real quick. So here was one friend who texted me, bro, by the way, you're spot on with talking about friends who call each other out. I thought it would be more common among entrepreneurs, but you're basically the only one who does it. And always when you do it, it first sucks to hear, but I always know you only say it because you care and because you believe it's something I can do. Usually I don't respond to it or just quickly agree and say, yeah, definitely, but I always take a mental note. Like since Thailand, I've stretched basically every day and ran 3 times a week and started the cut. In Portugal, you told me you learned too much and I basically didn't listen to a single podcast or YouTube video. So this is a bunch of shit, but many things that he wrote me here, and I want to highlight this message here. And always when you do it, first it sucks to hear, but I always know you only say it because you care and because you believe it's something I can do. This is something a friend messaged me, and this just highlights that everything what I said until so far in this video is completely true, and that you have to start implementing the same within your friends group, because this is number one, vital for you, for your friends in order to reach the next level, and also number 2, in order to build this even greater relationship with all of these people and in order to become even more successful. And now step number 2, which is the more fun part, is you have to do epic shit together. This is quite self-explanatory, but you have to do cool shit together where you just sit back one day and you just think, damn bro, like, do you remember when we did XYZ? And cool doesn't always have to mean it is expensive. Like, I have a few pictures in here where I'll tell you a few quick stories that I mentioned at the start of this video. And yeah, we'll just go into these real quick. So here it's my brother and me on my trip to Albufeira to Portugal. On the very, very last day, we had to cancel our yacht because the waves were too big, like the wind was too strong, and then we had the great idea to go cliff jumping instead. So from a very high class crazy activity to like a 40-meter long yacht that we wanted to rent, to fucking cliff jumping would cost us nothing. But every time we see the guys that we've done this with, we talk about this every single time, just because it was such a crazy experience. Here it's a picture of me driving that BMW C4 where we were drifting around Bucharest in the middle of the night, or last evening we had a G-Wagon, we had this BMW, we had a Porsche Cayenne, the new one, and we were just like driving around the city, drifting, doing stupid shit. It was super, super fun, and every time we see the boys, we just talk about this. Then this activity here, we had a 12 hours flight to Thailand, and for like 6 or 7 hours of this flight, like we were just playing Uno, annoying everyone else on the flight, people laughing at us or people laughing with us, asking us to play with us. And it was super, super fun. And this flight went by so quickly, just because this is like 5 online entrepreneurs playing Uno together, which was super, super funny. And then we have this, which is like us being then in Thailand, arriving the second last day, having an amazing quad tour, and then just being under this little waterfall here, taking these pictures, going in there, the water being freezing cold. But again, this is just amazing, and just looking at these pictures, having these memories, these experiences with all of these people creates this much stronger bond, because pretty much everyone in this picture is one of my closest buddies right now. And yeah, this just highlights everything again that I said here as well. And out of these 4 activities here, only this one costs a lot of money because we rented a few fucking nice cars. But you get what I'm saying here. And I really hope you understand the importance of this whole topic now. I really hope that you will start implementing these things I said in this video in order to upgrade the quality of your relationships. In case you like this video, like, subscribe, and also please leave a comment. I'd love to engage in more conversation in the comments. And you should definitely watch the video before this one, where I also talk about why you should completely honest about all the shit you go through, why you should be completely honest even with people you're meeting the first time in your life, and definitely give this video a watch as well. And I'll see you in the next one.